Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to take a look at 10 more underappreciated movies. And pretty much all these movies are rated pretty good. These are really good movies, but I feel like they're a little bit on the underappreciated side. I'm going to probably do maybe 2 or 3 more of these lists. I got a few movies behind me that I really feel like don't get the love. So I just want to, the point of these particular underappreciated lists is just to bring awareness to these movies. You might not have heard of these movies because they're not really popular movies, but they're really good movies. That's the whole point of this list. And the list that I did before and the next ones. So it's just to bring a little bit of awareness to these movies that I think that are just not appreciated. I want you guys to check out some of these movies. So we're going to go ahead and dive in, starting at number 10. We got The Drop, starring Tom Hardy and James Gandolfini. This movie came out in 2014 and is rated really high, 7.0. This is a fantastic movie with a very, very twisty end. If you like the kind of movies where you didn't see the end coming, you'll love this. This is a fantastic movie, and the end makes the movie worth it. Next up at number 9, we have, I did this in one of my favorite, I think, a list that I did about horror movies not too long ago. The Others, starring Nicole Kidman. This is a really good movie. This doesn't really come up in horror movie discussion at all. This movie came out in 2001. It's rated very high, 7.6, almost an 8. This movie is a banger, I'm telling you. It's got it all. This movie is really good. Nicole Kidman, she really played her part in this movie. Fantastic film. I'm telling you, you need to check this one out. Next up, you know, when you talk about underappreciated movies, you got to bring up Money Train. Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Jennifer Lopez. This is a great movie. Again, it's overshadowed by White Men Can't Jump, the first parent of these two guys, which was a better movie. But this is a really good movie, and I feel like it's really underrated. It's a fantastic watch. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's a good watch. Money Train. Money Train came out in 1995, and it rates pretty good, 5.7. Not bad for this type of movie from the 90s. Here's one that I know is really underappreciated. And I really want to see this movie get a little bit of love because it's a really cool movie. It really is. It's called Be Kind, Rewind with Mos Def and Jack Black. 2008, a really good 6.4 IMDb. Am I saying it right? IMDb? I think that's it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Really good 6.4. This is a really good movie. This is a cool family movie. Basically, Mos Def uncle, I do believe, is played by Danny Glover. He runs a neighborhood video store. Something happens. All the tapes get demagnetized. So they make these versions of the movies called sweeted versions. It's funny as hell. It's a good, wholesome family movie. You guys would love it. Check out Be Kind, Rewind. Next up is one that I haven't seen in years, but when I seen it, I was just blown away with it because I like these two actors. Jeff Bridges and Forrest Whitaker and Tommy Lee Jones. Forrest Whitaker is not really he's like the third wheel in this one, but it's mainly Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones. And I love Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones and Forrest Whitaker. So this movie right here is a win. It's called Blown Away. Blown Away came out in 1994. It rates pretty good, 6.2. All these movies is going to have pretty good ratings. So, and that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this list, because you got some movies that's rated really well, and they are good movies, but they just don't get a lot of love. They don't pop up on lists. So, Blown Away. You guys will love this one. So, basically, Jeff Bridges is an ex-IRA, Irish Republic, IRA operative. No, Tommy Lee Jones, no. Yes, Jeff Bridges is former IRA. Tommy Lee Jones was sent to prison. I think him and Jeff Bridges was like in the war together. Jeff Bridges left, came to America, became a SWAT officer. Tommy Lee Jones escaped prison, came to America, started blowing stuff up just to get back. Oh man, this movie is really good. I haven't seen it in a while, but that's the gist of it. Tommy Lee Jones is like blowing everything up that he can find. Good movie. Henceforth, the name Blown Away. Next up, we got one called The Babadook. Now, this is one of the newer ones. Normally, I would, for a movie to be like, to me, like a hidden gem, or not even a hidden gem, like a underappreciated gem, the movie would have had to been around for a while. This is fairly new, 2014, fairly, but this is a movie that, when I see, like, I'm in the BlueTube community, so I see a lot of lists, a lot of discussions on movies. I take part in a lot of discussions. This never come up really. I think I've seen this movie come up once, maybe twice in horror discussions, and it's a fantastic horror movie. It's really good. It's very disturbing. This movie is very disturbing. And it came out in 2014 and rates high, 6.8, almost a 7. This is a very disturbing horror movie. You guys got to check this one out if you haven't seen it. I don't blame you for not seeing it because I didn't see it. I think the first time I saw this was about maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So I don't blame you if you never heard of it. Next up is one from way back in the day. This one came out in 1988 and it rates really high, 6.9, almost a 7, starring Jeff Bridges as Preston Tucker. This is called Tucker, A Man of His Dream. The dream was the car. I forget the name of the car, but basically Preston Tucker made a car that was ahead of its time. And the big three, we know who the big three was. Ford, GM, and Chrysler really came after this guy to shut him down because his car was just that good. So they shut him down. He went bankrupt. The car is still around. People still got those cars, and they're pretty valuable. Clean examples of these cars go for a lot of money. So, yeah, Preston Tucker, A Man of His Dream. Fantastic movie. I remember seeing this back in the day when I was a kid. Or should I say a teenager? Next up, we got, here's one. Now, again, this is probably, this is the newest movie on the list. And I definitely don't like putting new movies like this on lists like this, but this is a movie I want you guys to check out. And I never heard, the only way I heard of this because it's a Shudder original. I never heard anyone discuss this movie. So I think it's a hidden gem, really, to be honest with you. If you got Shudder, this might still be on there, but The Boy Behind the Door. This is a very creepy horror movie. This is more like a part of the slasher subgenre of horror movies. It's a really good movie. It's about these two little boys that was on their way to a baseball game, and I'll leave it there because, again, this is a fairly new movie, so I'm quite sure a lot of you didn't see this. So I'm definitely not going to spill the beans on this one because this movie is only 3 years old. So The Boy Behind the Door, check this one out. If you got Shudder, check it out. It's a Shudder original. It should still be up there. If not, you can grab this from, I grabbed this from Best Buy for I think I got it on sale. It was like $9. So that's that. Here's another one that I really, 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 really enjoy. This is one of my favorites. This is definitely one of my favorite movies, but if I had to put it into a bucket, I would say this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, chick flick, and that's Sucker Punch. This movie is phenomenal. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I went into it with really, really low expectations, whatever. I think me and my wife was renting movies, and we grabbed it from Redbox. It was a movie night. So we went to the supermarket, they got them right outside the supermarket. I said, let's check that out. So we checked it out, man. We both was watching. We was so surprised. And I had to go out and buy this movie. This is Sucker Punch. You guys will love this movie. Sucker Punch came out in 2011. It rates at a decent 6.0. It's a really, really good movie. Don't let the chick on the front cover fool you. This movie is a banger. Trust me. The soundtrack to this movie the soundtrack alone is just worth the watch. Straight up. The acting is good. The story is good. The music is good. I'm telling you, Sucker Punch is a good movie. I think this made a couple of lists that I've done. So check this one out. It's definitely an underappreciated movie. This is actually a gem. Last but not least, one that I remember the first time I saw this movie years ago. This movie just blew my socks off because of how original the concept of this movie is. It came out in 2000. It rates really good, 7.4. Jem Caviezel and Dennis Quaid. Frequency. Now, Frequency is a really good movie. Basically, the son and the dad, they both are communicating in different times through a ham radio. And somehow the connection got crossed where the son and the dad can talk to each other, but the son is grown and the dad is back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to prevent his father from dying from just these different ways. Every time he stopped his dad from dying one way, he dies another way. So you got to try to stop him from dying that way. The movie is incredible. The first time I saw it, I was blown away. Again, I was talking earlier in a video, earlier video that I did today, and I was talking about sometimes you fall in love with the concept of a movie. But this movie is just not one of those movies where you'll fall in love with the concept. The acting is good. The story is incredible. But the concept of this movie, it is really, really original. So this is a movie that you're going to watch and you're going to like everything about it. You're going to like the acting. You're going to like the story. And you're going to like the concept of this movie. It's called Frequency. It came out in the year 2000, and it rates pretty good, 7.4 IMDb. Well, guys, that's 10 more. I'm going to name this video 10 more underappreciated movies, unloved movies, whatever you want to call it. Look for another list because there's way more movies out there that don't get the love, and we got to bring the attention to these movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.